There are a couple ways you can go about creating a new blank document. At the very least, you can open up the Word program, and if you have the startup screen, right in that screen, you can go ahead and click on the blank document template, and it'll take you right here and give you a blank document. Or if you hid in the startup screen, as we learned in an earlier training video, then it'll take you right to the blank document here. Now once you have the document open, and you're working on it, and you saved it, and you want to be able to open up a new blank document, you don't need to reopen the Word program. All you have to do is to go ahead within your document, come up here and click on the File tab, go Backstage, and go down to New, and come over here, and there you go, blank document. Now before I go ahead and click on it, I already have a blank document open with a generic title, Document 1, so when I click on Blank Document, it opens it up and it says, okay, we have Document 1, so this will be a generic title. You can see up in the title bar as well, Document 2. Now in my Windows training videos, whenever you open up another program, or in this case another document that's part of the program, you get the corresponding buttons down below. So for every window that you have open, you have a corresponding button. And it's called that because when you click on it, in this case it minimizes Document 2 down to the taskbar, so I can see Document 1 now. When I click on the Document 2 again, it restores it, so now I can see Document 2 up there in the title bar. I only need one document that I want to go over how to work within your documents, so I'm going to go ahead and close out of this one, go back to Document 1, and let's go ahead and start typing in some text. So you'll notice that the cursor is flashing at the very, well, almost to the top of the document. Why not at the very top? Because you have what are called margins. By default, Word isn't going to have these rulers here, so you can't really identify the width or the height of the margins like you can if you turn on the ruler, which you can by coming up here and clicking on the View tab, going to the Show Group, and if I uncheck ruler, well, I can't tell how big my margins are, but if I go ahead and check it again, you'll notice that in the horizontal ruler from 1 to 0, and then 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in any case, in the gray area, you've got a 1-inch margin when you go from 1 to 0. And then also from the top of the document, you've got from 0 to 1 a 1-inch margin. So my margins are a 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. Top, bottom, left, and right. So that's where I'm going to be starting. Just simply go ahead and type in some text. And wherever you have your cursor flashing, that's where it's going to dump it. So when I'm done with this line, after typing in the name of my company, and I want to go to the next line down below, hit the Enter key on the keyboard. Let me go back to the Home tab. Because notice that there's quite a bit of space between the Dreamforce text and where the cursor's flashing. So when I start typing in this text, I got quite a bit of space. It doesn't look like single space to me. So in a later training video, I'll show you how you can change the defaults. Instead of having like I think a 6-point or maybe even a 12-point space between each line, you can get rid of that spacing and have it a lot tighter in between your lines. Also, when it comes to the font type, you can see up here in the font group on the Home tab, the default is Calibri, and then you have the font size, which is 11. Of course, you can change it right here if you want, but if you want the default for every new document that you create to be like Times New Roman, size 12, or Arial, whatever font types and sizes are available, I'll show you how to do that in a later training video. But let's keep it simple here, and let's go over the basics, like typing in some text. So I'm on the next line, I'll continue typing. I'm done with that. If I need more space, I can hit Enter not only once but twice to kind of give me some room between this line and the next one here. If I made a mistake, like with regarding us, I want it to be about us, to be able to go back and edit regarding, delete it, remove it, or type over it, then just simply use your mouse. And you notice that when I move my mouse around over the document, it looks like an uppercase I. It's known as the I-beam, that you can hover in between the letters within a word to be able to get it right smack in the middle of your cursor in case if you have to delete some of the letters within your word, or if you want to delete the entire word, you could put it at the end of the word or at the beginning. It doesn't matter because you have both the backspace key and the delete keys. The backspace key will delete whatever text is behind the flashing cursor. So if I place it in front of regarding and I hit the backspace, you see it's deleting everything behind the cursor. If I place it in front, hit the delete key and it deletes what's in front of the cursor. Or if I place it in between letters, it's the same thing. Delete deletes what's in front of it. Backspace deletes what's behind it. And I can keep doing that until it is just about all gone. Okay, the cursor's flashing there, so to insert new text, I can just go ahead and type and it pushes the text in front of it over to the right, allowing me to add that text in front of us. Let's go ahead and move the cursor at the end of About Us so we can hit the Enter key, because if we put the cursor in between it and we hit Enter, it's going to break it up. I don't want to do that, so let me hit the backspace key to delete the space behind it so it can bring it back together, and then click below it because I already hit the Enter key on the keyboard, so there should be a line ready for me to go ahead and start typing in some more text. Now, before I go ahead and type in a couple of sentences here, I want you to notice that we've got our margins, 1-inch margin on the left-hand side, 1-inch margin on the right-hand side, that when I get to the end, you don't have to hit the Enter key on the keyboard to be able to get to the next line. Word has what's called text wrapping, that when it gets to the end, if you don't hit the Enter key, it'll automatically take you to the next line. And before I show you that, I want to come up here on the Home tab, go to the paragraph group here, and turn on what are called codes. When I turn it on, you're going to see, well, codes. Now the first code here that you're going to see, or that we're looking at, is the dot in between Dreamforce. That represents spacing. So if you come up here and you put your cursor there, hit the space bar, and you see 2 dots, well, if you just need 1 space in between Dreamforce and you see 2 dots, then go ahead and hit the backspace key to get rid of it. Without the codes being revealed here by turning them on, it may be hard to tell if you have an extra space, 2 spaces in between 2 words, depending upon the font type. So that's one benefit. Another benefit is that at the end of it, you can see that little paragraph marker. That lets me know that I'm beginning a new paragraph, or I hit the Enter key. Every time you hit the Enter key, it begins, according to Word, a new paragraph. It's not what you learned in your English class where you have 3 or 4 sentences. That makes up a paragraph. Because in Microsoft Word, anytime you hit the Enter key, it doesn't matter if it's just a single letter or you don't have anything there. That's a new paragraph. And that's going to come into play in later training videos when it comes to using advanced features, that if you can avoid hitting Enter by adding paragraphs and just simply typing your text when you get to the end and have Word wrap it for you, that can save you a lot of time, especially when it comes to applying formats to a range of text that is considered to be part of a paragraph. Let's keep it simple. I'll leave the codes on. If you want to turn them off, then again, just come back up here and deselect it so it's off. Let me click on it to turn it back on. It's going to look horrendous for a minute because the eyes are drawn right to the codes thinking, hey, did we type that in? No, we didn't. So I've got one paragraph here below About Us. When I click next to it, I can't click below it because I don't have an extra paragraph marker or a line that says, hey, this line down below is available. To get down there, I have to hit the Enter key to go down. If I hit the backspace key, it deletes that paragraph and I'm back up to just one line below About Us. So let's see what happens when I type in a bunch of sentences and I don't hit the Enter key and it gets to the end of the line here where it hits it at the 6.5 inch marker up here, the ruler, and you can see we've got a 1-inch margin, how it automatically wraps for us.